push out a little bit of the camera. Please don't fall. Yay. Yikes. Good. Wait me a little second. Good. Hi guys, I'm Hue, and today we're gonna... Okay, I already done with these glasses. These glasses, I wear it every day to make me look familiar to you, but we're always... When I wear it, I'm feeling like I'm in the robotic times and the future. When I take this out, I feel it like natural and a lot more better. And today we're gonna read a book about the pie and the patty pan. The pie and the patty pan. Once upon a time, there was a pussycat named called Ruby, who invited a little dog called Duchess to tea. "Come in good time, my dear Duchess," said Ruby's letter, "and we will have something so very, very nice. I am baking it in a pie dish with pink rim. You never taste anything so good, and you shall eat it all." "I will eat muffins, my dear Duchess," wrote Ruby. Duchess read the letter and wrote an answer. "I will come with much pleasure at 4:15, but it is very strange. I was just going to invite you to come here to supper, my dear Ruby, to eat something most delicious." "I will come very punctually, my dear Ruby," wrote Duchess. And then at the end she added, I hope it isn't a mouse." And then she thought that she did not look quite polite, so she scratched out "isn't mouse" and changed it to "I hope it will be fine," and gave the letter to the postman. But she thought a great deal about Pippi's pie, and she read Ruby's letter over and over again. "I am dreadfully afraid it will be mouse," said Duchess to herself. "I really can't eat mouse pie, and I shall have to eat it because it's a party, and my pie's going to be veal and ham, a pink and white pie dish. So it is mine, just like Pippi's dishes. We're both bought as Tabitha Twitchits." Duchess went to her larder and took the pie off a shelf and looked at it. "It is all ready to put to an oven. Such lovely pie crust. And I put in a little tin patty pan and hold out to the crust. And I made a hole in the middle with a fork to let out the steam. Oh, I do wish I could eat my own pie instead of a pie made of mouse. Ugh, gross." Duchess considered a condensed and read Ruby's letter again. "A pink and white pie dish, and you shall eat it all. You means me. Then Ruby is not going to even taste the pie herself? A pink and white pie dish. Ruby is sure to go out to buy the muffins. Oh, what a good idea! Why shouldn't I rush along and put my pie into Ruby's oven when Ruby isn't there?" Duchess was quite delighted with her own cleverness. Ruby, in the meantime, had received Duchess's answer, and as soon as she could sure that the little dog would come, she popped her pie into the oven. There were 2 ovens, one above another. Some of her knobs and handles were only ornamental and not intended to open. Ruby put the pie into the lower oven. The door was very stiff. The top oven bakes too quickly, said Ruby to herself. It is a pie of the most delicate and tender mouse minced up with bacon, and I have taken out all the bones because Duchess didn't nearly choke herself with a fish bone last time I gave her a party. She eats a little fast, rather big mouthfuls, but a most genteel and elegant little dog, infinitely superior companion to cousin Tabitha Twitchit. Ruby put on some coal and swept up her heart. When she went out, not heart, it is hearth. Then she went out with a can to the well for water to fill up the kettle. Then she began to set the room in order, for it was the sitting room as well as the kitchen. She shook the mats out at the front door and put them straight. The hearth rug was a rabbit skin. She dusted the clock and the ornaments on the mantelpiece, and she polished and rubbed the tables and chairs. Then she spread a very clean white tablecloth and set out her best china tea set, which she took out of a wall cupboard near a fireplace. The teacups were white with pattern of pink roses. Ooh, roses, my favorite flower. That's an opinion. And the dinner plates were white and blue. When Ruby had laid the table, she took a jug and a blue and a white dish and went out down the field to the farm to fetch milk and butter. But when she come back, she peeped into the bottom oven. The pie looked very comfortable. Ruby put on her shawl and a bonnet and went out again to buy a basket, to the village shop to buy a packet of tea, a pound of lump sugar, and a pot of marmalade. And just at the same time, Duchess came out of her house. At another end of the village, Ruby met Duchess halfway down the street, also carrying a basket covered with a cloth. They only bowed to one another. They did not speak because they were going to have a party. As soon as Duchess had got round the corner of sight, she simply ran straight away to Ruby's house. Ruby went to the shop and bought what she required, and came out after pheasant gossip with Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. Cousin Tabitha was disdainful afterwards in conversation. A little dog indeed, just as if there were no cats in Surrey. And a pie for afternoon tea. The very idea, said Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. Ruby went on to Timothy Baker's and bought the muffins. Then she went home. There seemed to be a sort of scuffling noise in the back passage as she was coming in the front door. I trust that not that pie. The spoons were locked up, however, said Ruby. But there was nobody. A oven door with some difficulty and turned a pie and began to be a pleasing smell of baked mouse. Ugh. Duchess in the meantime had slipped out at the back door. It is very odd thing that Ruby's pie was not in the oven when I put mine in and I can't find it anywhere. I have looked all over the house. I put my pie into a nice hot oven at the top. I cannot turn any of the other handles. I think that they're all shames, said Duchess, but I wish I could have removed a pie made of mouse. I cannot think what she had done with it. I heard Ruby coming, and I have to run out by the back door. Duchess went home and brushed her beautiful black coat, and then she picked a bunch of flowers in her garden as a present for Ruby, and passed the time until the clock struck 4. Ruby, having assured herself by careful reach that there were really no one hiding in the cupboard or in the larder, went upstairs to change her dress. She put on a lilac silk gown for the party and an embroidered muslin apron and tippet. It is very strange, said Ruby. I did not think I left that drawer pulled out. Has somebody been trying on my mittens? She came downstairs again and made the tea and put the teapot on the hob. She peeped again onto the bottom oven. The pie has become a lovely brown, and it was steaming hot. She sat down before the fire to wait the little dog. I'm glad I used the bottom oven, said Ruby. The top one would be certain have been very much too hot. I wonder why that cupboard door was open. Can there really have been someone in the house? Very punctually at 4 o'clock, Duchess started to go to the party. She ran so fast through the village that she was too early, and she had to wait a little while in the lane that leads down to Ruby's house. I wonder if Ruby has taken my pie out of the oven yet, said Duchess, and whatever I can have some of the other pie of mouse. The past 4 to the minute, and the most genteel little tappity. Is it Mr. Ribston at home? Required Duchess in the porch. Come in, and how do you do, my dear Duchess? Cried Ruby. I hope I see you well. I quite thank you. And how do you do, my dear Ruby? Said Duchess. I brought you some flowers. What a delicious smell of pie. Oh, what lovely flowers. Yes, it is mouse and bacon. Do not talk about food, my dear Ruby, said Duchess. What a lovely white tea cloth. If it done to a turn, is it still in the oven? I think it wants another 5 minutes, said Ruby. Just a shade longer. I will pour out the tea while we wait. Do you take sugar, my dear Duchess? Oh, yes, please, my dear Ruby. And may I have a lump upon my nose? With pleasure, my dear Duchess. How beautifully you beg. Oh, how sweet, pretty. Duchess sat up with the sugar on her nose and sniffed. How good that pie smells! I do love a veal and ham. I mean to say mouse and bacon. She dropped the sugar in confusion and had to go hunting under the tea table, so she did not see which oven Ruby opened in order to get out the pie. Ruby set the pie upon the table, and there was very savory smell. Duchess came out from under the tablecloth, munching sugar, and sat up on a chair. I first cut the pie for you, and I'm going to have muffin and marmalade, said Ruby. Do you really prefer muffin? Mine a patty pan. May I beg your pardon? Said Ruby. May I pass you your marmalade? Said Duchess hurriedly. The pie proved extremely toothsome, and the muffin light and hot. They disappeared rapidly, especially the pie. I think, thought the Duchess to herself, I think it would be wiser if I helped myself to pie, though Ruby did not seem to notice anything when she was cutting it. What very small fine pieces it had cooked into. I did not remember that I had minds of it up so fine. I suppose this is a quicker oven than my own. How fast Duchess is eating, thought Ruby to herself, and she buttered in her fifth muffin. The pie dish was emptying rapidly. Duchess had 4 helps already and was fumbling with a spoon. May a little more bacon, my dear Duchess? Said Ruby. Thank you, my dear Ruby. I was only feeling for the patty pan. The patty pan, my dear Duchess? The patty pan would help up the pie crust, said Duchess, blushing under her black coat. Oh, I didn't put one in, my dear Duchess, said Ruby. I don't think that is necessary in pies made of mouse. Duchess fumbled with a spoon. I can't find it, she said anxiously. Where's in a patty pan? Said Ruby, looking perplexed. Yes, indeed, my dear Ruby. Where can it have gone to? Said Duchess. There most certainly is not one, my dear Duchess. I disapprove of tin articles in pudding and pies. It is most undesirable, especially when people swallow in lumps, she added in a lower voice. Duchess looked very much alarmed and continued to scoop inside of the pie dish. My great aunt of Squitinia, grandmother, cousin Tabitha Twitchit, died of a thimble in a Christmas plum pudding. I never put any article of metal in my pudding or pies. Duchess looked aghast and tidied up the pie dish. I have only 4 patty pans, and they are all in the cupboard. Duchess set up a bowl. I shall die and shall die. I have swallowed a patty pan. Oh, my dear Ruby, I do feel so ill. It is impossible, my dear Duchess. There was not a patty pan. Duchess moaned and whined and rocked herself about. Oh, I feel so dreadful. I have swallowed a patty pan. There was nothing in the pie, said Ruby severely. Yes, there was, my dear Ruby. I'm sure I swallowed it. Let me prop you up with a pillow, my dear Duchess. Where do you think you feel it? Oh, I do feel ill all over me, my dear Ruby. I have swallowed a large tin patty pan with a sharp scalloped edge. Shall I run for the doctor? I will just lock off the spoons. Oh, yes, yes, fetch Mr. Maggoty, my dear Ruby. He is a pie himself. He'll certainly understand. Ruby settled Duchess in an armchair before the fire. And went out hurried to the village to look for the doctor. She found him in the assembly. He was occupied putting rusty nails into a bottle of ink which he had obtained from the post office. "Gammon? Ha ha!" said he, with his head on one side. Ruby explained that her guest had swallowed a patty pan. "Spinach? Ha ha!" said he, and accompanied her with artillery. He hoped so fast that Ruby had to run. It was Compilations, Kiwis, and the village could see that Ruby was fetching a doctor. "I knew they would overeat themselves," said Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. But while Ruby had been hunting for the doctor, a curious thing had happened to Duchess, who has been left by herself, sitting before the fire, sighing and groaning, and feeling very unhappy. "How could I have swallowed it? Such a large thing as a patty pan!" She got up and went to the table and felt inside the pie dish again with a spoon. "No, there's no patty pan, and I put one in, and nobody has eaten pie except me, so I must have swallowed it." She sat down again and started mournfully at the grate. The fire crackled and danced, and something sizzled. Duchess started. She opened the door of the top oven. Out came a rich, steamy flavor of veal and ham. There stood a fine brown pie, and through a hole in the top of the pie crust was a glimpse of a little tin patty pan. Duchess drew a long breath. "I must have been eating mouse. I wonder I feel ill. Perhaps I should feel worse if I had really swallowed a patty pan." What was a patty pan, dude? Duchess reflects. What a very awkward thing to have to explain to Ruby. I think I'll put my pie in the backyard. I say nothing about it. When I go home, I will run around and take it away. She put outside the back door and sat down again by the fire and shut her eyes. When Ruby arrived with the doctor, she seemed fast asleep. "Gammon, ha ha," said the doctor. "I'm feeling very much better," said Duchess, waking up with a jump. "I'm truly glad to hear it. He has brought you a pill, my dear Duchess." "I think I should feel quite well if he only felt my pulse," said Duchess, backing away from the magpie, who sidled up with something in his beak. "It's only a brief pill. You had much better take it. Drink a little milk, my dear Duchess." "Gammon? Gammon?" said the doctor, while Duchess coughed and choked. "Don't say that again," said Ruby, losing her temper. "Here, take this bread and jam, and get out into the yard." "Gammon and spinach, ha ha ha!" shouted Mr. Maggoty. triumphantly outside the back door. I'm feeling very much better, my dear Ruby, said Duchess. Do you not think that I'd better go home before it gets dark? Perhaps it might be wise, my dear Duchess. I'll lend you a nice warm shawl, and you shall take my arm. I would not trouble if you for words. I feel wonderfully better. One feel of Mr. Dr. McGonagall. Indeed, a most admirable. If it has curled up your patty pan, I shall call directly after breakfast to ask how you have slept. Ruby and Duchess have goodbye affectionately, and Duchess started home. Halfway up a lane, she stopped and looked back. Ruby has gone in and shut her door. Duchess slipped through the fence and ran down to the back of Ruby's yard and peeped into the yard. Upon the roof of a pigsty sat Mr. McGonagall and 3 jackdaws. The jackdaws were eating pie crust of a magpie and drinking gravy out of a patty pan. Gammon, ha! He shouted when he saw Duchess' little black nose peeping around the corner. Duchess ran home feeling uncommon silly. When Ruby came out for a pailful of water to wash up the tea things, she found a pink and white pie dish lying smashed in the middle of the yard. The patty pan was under a pump, where Dr. McGonagall had considered left it. Piggy started with amazement. Did you ever see the like? There really was a patty pan? But my patty pans were all in the kitchen cupboard. Well, never did. Next time I want to give a party, I'll invite Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. The end. I know this is a really long, so I hope you still enjoy it, bruh. So now I'm feeling like I wanted to let you guys to know what is a patty pan. Okay, wait me for a sec. I gonna need to turn on my computer and clean up those things. Super messy. Sorry, I need to do it in 2 hands, so I did not really need to do it. Nearly there, guys. Nearly there. Good. Wait me a sec. Get away, chair. Okay, here's Google, and I gonna need to go out here. Wait me. Okay, so going out here, I'm gonna type patty pan and choose enter. Patty pan? Is this really a patty pan? I don't know. Let's see out here. What is a patty pan? Is this really a patty pan? A pumpkin? Anyway, so you guys got a great time with me. So, bye guys. Got a lovely day. Bye bye. See ya in the next vid.